See more 1424 species in genus Peperomia at monsteraholic.com. How to grow Peperomia zona pellucida? The Peperomia zona pellucida, also known as the ribbon peperomia or shiny bush, is a beautiful and relatively easy to grow houseplant. Here's a guide to cultivate this interesting little plant. Planting Peperomia zona pellucida. Seeds or propagation. While you can grow Peperomia zona pellucida from seeds, it's a slower and less common method. Propagation through stem cuttings is generally preferred for its ease and success rate. Propagation from stem cuttings. Take cuttings, select a healthy stem with at least 2 to 3 sets of leaves. Use sterilized pruning shears or a sharp knife to make a clean cut just below a leaf node, the bump where a leaf joins the stem. Callousing the cutting. Allow the cut end of the stem to callus over for a few days. This drying period helps prevent rot. Leave it on a dry, well-ventilated surface out of direct sunlight. Planting. Prepare a pot with well-draining potting mix specifically for cacti or succulents. You can also create your own mix using potting soil, perlite, and sand in equal parts for optimal drainage. Moisten the soil slightly. Planting the cutting. Make a small hole in the soil and insert the calloused end of the stem cutting. Gently firm the soil around the base of the cutting. Planting from seeds, optional. Sow seeds. Sow Peperomia zona pellucida seeds on a moist seed starting mix and lightly press them into the soil. Don't bury them deeply. Humidity and light. Cover the pot with a clear plastic bag or humidity dome to maintain moisture. Place the pot in a location with bright, indirect sunlight. Germination. Seeds should germinate within 3 days to 3 weeks. Once seedlings emerge, gradually remove the plastic cover to acclimate them to lower humidity. General care. Light. Peperomia zona pellucida prefers bright, indirect sunlight for at least 5 to 6 hours daily. Avoid harsh, direct sun, which can scorch the leaves. East or north-facing windows can provide good lighting conditions. Watering. Water moderately, using the soak and dry method. Allow the top inch of soil to dry out completely between waterings. Overwatering is a major threat, so err on the side of underwatering. Soil and potting. Use a well-draining potting mix for cacti or succulents. Ensure the pot has drainage holes to prevent waterlogging. Temperature and humidity. Peperomia zona pellucida thrives in warm temperatures between 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 24 degrees Celsius. Average household humidity levels are sufficient. Higher humidity can be beneficial but isn't necessary. Fertilizing, not a heavy feeder. A diluted, balanced liquid fertilizer applied once during spring or early summer is sufficient. Avoid over-fertilizing. Additional tips. Repotting. Repot your Peperomia zona pellucida every 2 to 3 years or when the roots outgrow the current pot. Choose a pot that's only slightly larger than the root ball. Pests and diseases. Generally pest and disease resistant. Watch out for mealybugs and scale insects. Treat them with insecticidal soap or neem oil if necessary. Propagation. You can easily propagate new Peperomia zona pellucida plants throughout the growing season using stem cuttings as described earlier. How to use Peperomia zona pellucida for acne. Using Peperomia zona pellucida for acne has been surprisingly effective for me. I first learned about its benefits from a friend who swears by natural remedies. To use it, I harvest a few fresh leaves, wash them thoroughly, and then crush them to extract the juice. I apply the juice directly to the affected areas on my face and leave it on for about 15 to 20 minutes before rinsing off with warm water. Doing this regularly has noticeably reduced the inflammation and helped clear up my skin. Where to buy Peperomia zona pellucida? Finding Peperomia zona pellucida to buy was a bit of a journey. After checking out several local nurseries with no luck, I turned to online plant shops and gardening forums. I finally found a seller on Etsy who specialized in rare plants, including Peperomia zona pellucida. The plant arrived in great condition, and it's been thriving ever since. I also noticed some gardening communities on social media where people share cuttings, which could be another great way to acquire it. Can Peperomia zona pellucida grow in California? Growing Peperomia zona pellucida in California is absolutely feasible. I live in a region with a Mediterranean climate, and the plant seems to adapt well to the environment here. I keep it indoors to maintain consistent humidity and avoid the direct, harsh sunlight during the peak of summer. Occasionally, I move it outside for some fresh air, but mostly, it stays near a window where it gets plenty of indirect light. It's definitely manageable with the right care. How to eat Peperomia zona pellucida? Eating Peperomia zona pellucida has added an interesting twist to my salads and soups. I usually pick the young, tender leaves and stems, which have a mild, peppery taste. For salads, I mix them with other greens and add a light vinaigrette. They also work well in soups. I toss them in towards the end of cooking to keep their delicate texture intact. It's a nutritious addition to my diet, and I love experimenting with new ways to incorporate it into my meals.